Hi, everybody. This is Nicki Reddington, and thank you for joining my Facebook feature today. For those of you that are just now following me and my new Facebook friends, I do choose a different person each week and introduce them to you. And they all have different businesses, and I've always loved meeting people and different kind of businesses. It's really captivated me, and I feel like I learn a lot from them, and so many of them have so much to offer. And anyway, I just feel like they all love what they do. They have a passion, they work hard, and they have amazing hearts as well. And I know there are several of you on my list waiting to be featured, and I will get to you right away. But I feel like today, ladies and gentlemen, that my special guest today is that we have a very special, important topic to tell you about. And this is a creative, a positive, interactive platform to be able to use to help someone, empower someone new, to introduce you to, so that I can give them a platform so they can tell you about what they do, and maybe they have that special product or service that you've been looking for, but the right person behind it. And with heavy hearts, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about, with my special guest, a horrible epidemic that is basically claiming the lives of many right here in our backyard, in our community, and in many communities around America as well. And with the loss of his son, Joe Pappas, the president of Emerald Neuro Recover Center, is bringing a new treatment to the Midwest. And this treatment has been used for several years now in many states like California, Florida, Louisiana, Arizona, and Oregon. But Mr. Pappas is the first to bring it to the Midwest, and they are changing lives already in their community and has an amazing success rate with their patients. And I just feel like right now it's important to introduce this topic to you because it is a matter of life and death, and we need to get the word out. And during our interview, ladies and gentlemen, if you know of anyone that is going through this horrible epidemic, which is opiate and heroin addiction, please type in the comments below, or please leave a private message for Joe Pappas, Joepappas, or they do have a Facebook page, Emerald Neuro Recover Center. So right away I want to introduce to you Mr. Joe Pappas. He is the president and CEO of Emerald Neuro Recover Center. Joe, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Nicki, for inviting me. I really appreciate this forum. You're absolutely right. We're in the midst of a horrible epidemic. We've got people of all races, all social economic classes. There's no boundaries. The boundaries have gone away, and it's affecting all of us. And so we're trying to make a difference, one patient at a time. And so we here at Neuro brought this particular technology, if you will, to the Midwest because we noticed that it was severely lacking in the number of treatment centers available, and certainly this particular treatment center, which actually addresses the medical condition of addiction. So by repairing the brain to its pre-addiction neurologic levels by a 10 to 15 day IV treatment, which consists of 6 to 10 hours a day for, like I said, 10 to 15 days, we actually repair the neurotransmitters and neuroreceptors in the brain. So we virtually eliminate all cravings, we minimize withdrawals, we eliminate the depression associated with addiction. All the things that are triggers to for a patient to go back to using, we actually address. So it's very important moving forward that not only do we repair the brain, but we also include the wraparound services that many of the traditional centers use, because we understand that it's a multifaceted issue, addiction is. and there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed. But repairing the brain is number one, because once we do that, uh, the cravings are gone, all the triggers pretty much that cause the patient to relapse or to use in the first place, we eliminate those. So that gives the patient a nice head start moving forward in their lives to get their lives back.
And Joe, may I ask you a question? I know when I was sitting down with you, I feel like I'm pretty aware of what goes on,
Sure.
in our community and out there. I always knew that drugs was an issue, but the prevalence of it, how it impacts people's lives so much, and I guess it's not talked about that much. Things
No.
that are happening right here in our backyard. It's something that you really never hear of, and these people are just, their lives are being destroyed by this. Can you maybe share
Yeah, I mean,
shed a little light on this, please?
yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of people don't like to talk about it. People tend to sometimes think that it's embarrassing that their son or their daughter is addicted to drugs, but it's so common nowadays. I'm hoping, and I'm starting to see people come out and say, "Look, there's a problem. I want to fix it before they end up losing their daughter or son." I would hope that they would want to, bring this out. Now, again, it still can be a very private thing. At the same time, we know that it's everywhere, and we need to get a handle on it. There's a lot being done in our state to propel this. If you read the papers every single day, virtually, there's an article on drug abuse. There's either that or they talk about shootings or killings all related to drugs. So it's something that's so widespread that people are actually starting to talk about it more and more and more, and which is great. The more you talk about it, the better off we all are.
That's
so,
good.
So so I really believe that the parents that learn that their children have been starting to experiment with drugs, it's a perfect time to talk about it, to be active in their child's life. Don't just give up on them. It's you gotta love them all that much more, and show them that love and that you're concerned, and that you want to help them.
Well, and another point that you were telling me, Joe, that this does not have any barriers. It doesn't choose a class. It does not choose a race. And many of people affected by this, it could start by somebody on a pain medication, and it escalates from there. I mean,
The overwhelming majority start that way. I mean, the overwhelming majority of the heroin addicts today started off on pain pills, either prescription-wise or they got them elsewhere. But many of them prescription. You'd be surprised at all the sports fanatics that been playing sports for some time, and they get injured. They have a surgery or they get put on opiates, and they're hooked. And it's that simple. And once they're hooked, they can't get the drugs anymore. They go right to heroin. So it's a horrible issue in our country today, and needs to be addressed. Certainly we're just a drop in the bucket, but as more and more people realize this issue, hopefully the more involved people will get in trying to help others and get this under control, if that's even possible.
Well, it sounds like there is hope with this breakthrough treatment that Joe has brought to the Midwest. And today there is a patient here that has been through the program. And perhaps if that person is available or ready
Sure.
to maybe bring them on right now,
Sure.
and you can hear from someone. So,
Sure.
there's-
Hey, at this point, I'd like to introduce you to Danielle. She's a former patient of ours, and she's been kind enough to share her story with us.
and with that, Danielle, can you come over here, please? Thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. If you could just tell our Facebook friends here a little about your story and your experience going through this program, please. Thank you.
I was taking, I took Percocet and Vicodin off and on for years, starting around 23 or so, and then the last time that I took it, I didn't want to go through withdrawal, and the only thing that was left was methadone pills. I never went to a clinic. I didn't do any, never had liquid or anything like that, but I had the pills, and so I started taking those, and it turned into years of taking it.
Okay.
And then I looked on. I didn't know how to get off of it. Everyone says that's the worst thing you could be on, so I didn't know how to get off of it. And then finally, the supply was cut off, and I had to figure it out one way or another.
Okay.
So I did research for 2 weeks and came upon this stuff. I didn't see a lot of testimonials like I had hoped. It seemed like such a great treatment, but I couldn't find a whole lot about it other than just documents saying what it does. And so I decided to just do it and see for myself, and it does work. It really does work. I mean, it reduced the withdrawal symptoms on some days up to 90%.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful. I mean, there is hope, everyone. It a 90% success rate. So, can you tell us a little bit how many days? Mr. Pappas was talking to the audience about how many days of the program. How many days, and what was your experience through your treatment process?
It was 15 days. For the first 3 days, I still had enough to wean myself down, rapidly wean down. And then I really didn't have any symptoms of anything the first 5 days. Not the first day without anything, or the second. On the third, it was weird. It was really weird. Because rather than go through consistent withdrawal, I would have a couple hours of maybe some mild restlessness, and then it would go away. And then the next night, maybe a little bit of hot and cold, just nothing. It was like a really mild flu. It was weird. So I kept waiting for the next day for something worse to happen, and it didn't. So I had one bad day, which was on day 8, but I don't know if that was just from NAD. I was nauseous. I also had a really bad cold when I started.
Okay.
And then I had a really bad cold when I finished. I had about a 4-day break between that. So
Okay.
it's hard to tell what my symptoms were with that. But even with the bad cold, I mean, it wasn't. It was just like a flu. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's so weird.
But then, obviously, you're after your 15 days on the program with the treatment. Obviously, it has changed your life.
It has, because in the past, when you go through withdrawal, it takes a while before you can really interact with people and function, because you just don't feel like yourself. You have anxiety, social anxiety, depression. It's like you just aren't. You're not yourself.
Okay.
And that can take a long time, just with more mild opiate, or more mild than methadone anyway.
Okay.
With Vicodin and Percocet, that can take a long time, and I've heard that can take years with methadone.
Oh my.
I haven't had one day where I haven't felt like myself. Not one. There was a time that I went through withdrawal from Vicodin, and about 2.5 weeks after, I was still I had so much anxiety. I sideswiped someone's car.
Okay.
I couldn't drive in public. I mean, it's really bad, and this really is different. It really is different.
Well, and thank you for mentioning that, because I know Mr. Pappas earlier in our interview, he was talking about the anxiety factor that this treatment, really gets to to the heart of many of those of the feelings, along with addiction and with withdrawal. So thank you very much, and we just want to reach out and hopefully help anyone that we can that's listening today. And if anyone out there, if you know, please contact Joe Pappas or the Emerald Neuro Recover Center, and they can. There's going to be someone here to be able to help you right away. And Danielle, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I want as many people to know, because, like I said, when I looked it up, there just wasn't a lot of video testimonials to really prove that someone went through it and what they felt after. And I mean, still, I have been, let's see, I started October 27th. So how many days has it been? It's been about 37 days that I've had nothing. And I haven't had one thought of taking it. Like, it's still weird to me, and I went through it. So I cannot stress enough that it really does work. It really does work. And it's a shame that it's not out there more for more people.
Well, and you know what? And we are working on that. This is a process, and hopefully by your story and finding Mr. Pappas and his treatment center, hopefully this will be able to start some awareness and be able to get the word out more. So thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Mr. Pappas and the Emerald Recover Center. And my Facebook friends, please share this video to anyone that you know who is going through this horrible epidemic of drug addiction. So until next time, everyone, you have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.